And so we're going to look at SMART goals. This is how we've been trained. Simple. You got to be specific. We've all heard you got to be specific in your goals, right? Of course you do. Because specificity you can see. Measurable. You want to measure because you don't know what you're doing if you don't measure. Achievable. Sometimes maybe we don't want achievable goals, do we? Relevant. Realistic. Some people say realistic. You got to be realistic. My dad used to say that all the time. And then time-bound. You want to put some times on these. Now, we've been taught these goals. Who has not heard about these goals? This way of doing goals. We've all heard it. It makes sense, doesn't it? It totally makes sense. But do they get us where we want to be? Are they maybe a little restrictive? Are they maybe a little simplistic? How about dumb goals? Dream-oriented, uplifting, and evidently massive action because this thing does go fast. Barely attainable. Dumb goals. Now, these goals, we love. As entrepreneurs, we love these goals, don't we? I talk about generator SMART goals. But one of the things that I really want to mention here tonight is that there's a disease that all entrepreneurs get. It's kind of like when I was talking this morning about the people in recovery, about 2 years, they all decide to be recovery counselors. Well, entrepreneurs get this illness. It's called shiny object syndrome. Anybody ever have that? You know, I should do this, I should do that, I should do this, I should do that, I should do this. And then they start 25 projects and nothing gets done. Who wants to admit that they do stuff like that? Yeah, there's a vaccine. It's called a goal. You want to be focused on your goals. You want to be stubborn in your goal. Because when you're not stubborn in your goal, you go off track. Christine and I talk about being on the bullet train of action, and what that means is sticking to your goals. You make your goal and you keep going. You don't deviate. It's the one thing. We've talked about that one thing that if I just put off everything else and do that one thing, everything else will take care of itself. For me, in the beginning, it was sobriety. And you'd be amazed at how just changing that one thing changed my life. But what we're talking about here is SMART goals, is we're talking about stretching. We want to take the dumb goals and we want to take the SMART goals and put them into a way that we generate the life we love. Stretching. Stretching ourselves to that brink where, oh my God, I don't know if I could do this. But how do we do that? With a team. We do it with partners. We stretch in two ways. We stretch by making the goal bigger and making the time shorter. And we always look at how we can make changes quicker and quicker on the bullet train of action because we want to help people fast. We want to help them move to the perfect average day, that day that they just love to wake up in their house, in their experience, in that life they created for themselves. And the goals have to be motivating. Did you know that the dumb goals often actually create more fear than movement? Those huge goals are too big for us sometimes. But when they're motivating, it's easy to move there. And so we want a motivator behind every goal we have. Because motivation creates traction and action. Actionable. We need to be able to take action. Having a goal that in 3 months I'm going to start doing this coaching program, or in 3 months I'm going to buy my first property. That's not an actionable goal. That's a mark on a calendar that makes me feel really good in not taking action. Refining. Now, we talked about goals with Walter up here, And then Mitch talked about goals. And what I want everybody to do is take out those goals that they wrote down with Mitch. And I want you to really look at those goals and think about this. Is that the goal that you really want? Is it too dream-oriented? Is it too specific? Is it too small? Did you make your goal for like 3 years from now? Is there something you can do to refine that goal to make it more tangible, more powerful, more motivating, more actionable right now? That's what we want to look at. And the last one is our goals have to be transformative. If we're not getting change because of our goals weren't right.